Ladies and gentlemen, Invincible Season 3 is finally over. I just finished watching it, and let me tell you, that finale was... So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going over Season 3. Tell you the things I like, the things I don't like, and most importantly, going over that insane finale. It was so insane. And what better place to start than episode 1? We open up episode 1 with our boy Mark getting into tip-top shape after getting whooped by Anissa and nearly losing to Angstrom last season. And what better way to do it than to beat on the big red slow kid, who, fun fact, turns out to be Indian. I don't know what that adds, but look at his mom, it's Debbie, but brown. I can't lie, episode 1 is cool. I like it. We see Mark got like 2 times stronger. Oliver got his powers. Mark and Eve are finally together. Finally. Even though Mark almost sold. This scene frustrated me. Mark, why would you even feel the need to bring up her future version? And Eve, why are you so mad about it? Just cause future you wanted a piece doesn't mean you can't too. We also see some new characters this episode like Multipaw, who I predicted correctly is Kate's brother. See, I knew it. They got the same eyes. These 2 dudes who ride on a hover scooter who I'm gonna talk about later. And we even see the return of everyone's favorite villain, Doc Seismic. Y'all know, the dude that hates the founding fathers or something. Except this time he came back stronger. A lot stronger. He somehow managed to capture all the superheroes on the planet according to Cecil. And look, Cecil, you my dog, but that seems like a bit of a stretch. And after sending even Mark and Invincible going out there and looking real Vincible, Cecil sends over Darkwing. Y'all remember that dude that was pretending to be Batman and fake Gotham, but he was actually killing people? That dude. And some of the robots from season 1 to save the day. But Mark did not like this at all. After decking Darkwing, he immediately leaves to go talk to Cecil about it. But Mark was not prepared for what Cecil had in store for him. And that leads to episode 2. Episode 2 was even better than 1 in my opinion. And this is where we get Cecil's backstory, which was pretty dope. And we see why he is the way he is. You know, his whole people could be redeemed, bad people could do good things, good people could do bad things. That whole thing. And we also see Mark and Cecil get into it after the end of last episode. And this was so cool to see. Cecil starts using the sound device implanted in Mark's head to hurt Mark. Come on, bruh. You was my dog. And it ends up leading Mark all the way back to the Guardians HQ, who thankfully take the side of Mark. And after some fighting and Robot doing some cool nerd genius stuff to help Mark threatens Cecil and tells him to never get near his family again. Y'all can see why I like this one. But, of course, it can't all be perfect, because this episode has one of my least favorite scenes in the entire series. When Immortal and Dupla Bum decide they don't want to leave the Guardians. And it's not even that they don't want to leave. It's what they're saying when they're talking about it. This girl Duplicate had the audacity to tell Rex and Shrinkray that she went through the same things they did, if not worse. What the hell is she talking about? You can literally clone yourself. You were in no way close to dying that day. Rex and Shrinkray though, they were leaving it on the floor, putting their lives on the line. I thought they were dead, while you were over here in some bunker, some government facility hiding? Man! Then we had this bum Immortal in the back, existing and glazing as usual. Cecil only does what is necessary. Man, shut up. After all the tension in episode 2, episode 3 was a pretty cool contrast to this. It's pretty chill for the most part. We see the Guardians move out, we see Mark and Oliver get their new outfits, and we even see Eve ask to move back in with her parents. Her dad is such a bitch. But remember guys, I said this episode was chill. For the most part. Because after Mark checks the news and sees the Mauler twins have defeated the Guardians and are planning to launch a nuke. Come on, bro. What are you even good for? Like, seriously, bro. Only dude more useless than you is Black Samson. And even then, I give him his flowers because ever since that Invincible!
Black Samson, retreat!
He hasn't been the same. Mark goes to handle it. But let's remember, guys, Oliver has his powers now. So when Mark goes to fight the Maulers and starts looking real Vincible again, Oliver pulls up. And I don't know if it's because Oliver grew up without a dad, but he doesn't seem to have the same history as Mark and every other superhero on the planet. Why do I say that? Well, because he straight up murks the Mauler twins. When I saw this, I was in shock. No hesitation, no remorse. Look at his face. He doesn't even care that this other dude is begging. And if I was in shock, Mark was in even more shock. And he was mad. He takes Oliver up to the sky and hits him with the, "What you did was not nice!" It's not nice to do that. Nah, in all seriousness, you murdered them. Oliver starts saying it was an accident. Bro, come on, man. That's a blatant lie. And this scene got me annoyed because Oliver trying to justify what he did brings up the fact that Mark killed Angstrom. Like, come on, dog. You don't see Mark bringing up the fact that you spent more time with your dad or that you had purple skin. I'm just saying. Oliver then tells Mark, you know, maybe it's okay we kill villains. I mean, they're villains. And this makes Mark think. Episode 3 ends with Mark and Eve on a classic date. right outside Mark's house, and Mark discovering he's being watched by someone. And that's how we get to episode 4. Episode 4, again, another episode I like. They are 4 for 4 right now. Give them a round of applause. Yep. Now give me one. We see Mark try and figure out who's stalking him, but to no avail. We then see Mark and Eve go on a little nicer date, a dinner date, until they're interrupted by the 2 hover dudes from earlier. They turn out to be from the future, and normally this future timeline stuff be confusing me, but this time, it still did, but I like it. They drag Mark and force him to come help them stop their king who enslaved Earth. I'm talking work camps, no power, curfews. So the dude who did this has to be a monster. The twins even told Mark that he's been ruling the planet for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and he's almost impossible to kill. Lives for a long time. Impossible to kill? Don't tell me. This dude is a vulture. It's just the Immortal. As much fun as it is to hate on the Immortal, I low-key like this reveal a lot. So it turns out in this future, Mark left the Immortal in charge of Earth after he left with his family. So in this future, Mark and Eve might have tied the knot. Unless he's talking about Amber. And at some point, the Immortal lost his mind, couldn't handle it anymore, so he's been doing all this messed up stuff in an attempt to bring future Mark back. And now that present Mark is here, he needs him to do something. He needs Mark to kill him. Nah, in all seriousness, this was low-key sad. Mark was still recovering from the fact that he murked Angstrom, so for him now to have to kill someone he actually somewhat kinda cares about / respects, that's gotta be rough. I mean, he done it anyways, but it was still rough. I rock with this though. We got some insight about how a potential future for Mark could be, and the Immortal said something about Mark being sick again. When has Mark been sick? And episode 4 only continued to impress me, because after cutting away from Mark and Eve about to do their thing, we cut to Alan and Omni-Man. I think I'm gonna just call him Nolan now. We're on that first name basis. Where we see Nolan's about to be executed. Oh no. But luckily at the same time, Alan's ready to bust them out. And you know, him and Nolan are pretty strong, but why not add one more strong dude to the duo and make it a trio? So while breaking out the prison, Alan enlists the one, the only intergalactic Mufasa. I missed you, my boy, I missed you. This sequence was so much fun to watch. We got to see Nolan stand on the love he has for Earth. Mufasa and Alan run through guards. Alan and Nolan absolutely decimate this dude's cranium with the beastiest fist bump ever. We see Mufasa fight a Viltrumite in space. And craziest of all, we find out there are less than 50 Viltrumites left in the universe. What? When I first saw this, it absolutely blew my mind. For about 2 minutes. Seriously, so what if there's less than 50 of them? Just 10 of them are running through the Earth easily. Episode 4 though, peak, amazing, one of my favorites of the season. Episode 5 though, Episode 5 is alright. It's more of a slice of life filler type episode, which I won't lie, I like some parts of it, like the whole breakfast scene, that was pretty cool, the Oliver skate park thing, and my favorite, Rex and Ray's dinner date. Ah, they're adorable. I hope nothing happens to them. But the other storyline with Titan and his old Asian dude who could turn into a dragon? I mean, I like Titan and all, but this is season 1 stuff. I don't care about Mark getting whipped by an old Asian cyborg version of Jake Long, the American Dragon. It's just embarrassing to watch. But it's alright though, because now there were only 3 episodes left. And these last 3, oh my goodness. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for allowing me to witness this. Episode 6 made up for whatever boring dragon moments there were with the introduction of Powerplex. He's this dude who was related to one of the victims of Mark and Nolan's fight in Chicago, but after the legal system failed him, yeah, it does that sometimes, he takes matters into his own hands, and with the help of his wife, becomes Powerplex. Not only does this dude have electricity powers, but even cooler, he's voiced by Aaron Paul, known for his popular role as, I know exactly who he is, say it with me now, Chuck from Help I'm a Fish. Just kidding. Jesse from Breaking Bad, who even came with his own Jane, but you know, this one's alive. This man was such a good addition to the season. First of all, he might actually have the best title card in the entire series with the whole, why is above the law? Why does never pay for his crimes? That was hilarious. It's still not topping the, where's Mark, Debbie? Where's... That one was too cold. Second of all, not really about him, but I love how much of a ride or die his wife is. Literally. And third of all, his fight with Mark. Pretty dope. I'm not gonna glaze and act like it's the best, but it's cool. I like that the harder you hit him, the stronger he gets. It's the perfect counter to Viltrumites. But there is one thing I don't really like about this dude, Powerplex. And I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm about to say, but this dude, Powerplex, blames Mark for everything. Like they're fighting that building. After Powerplex uses his son and wife as hostages to Laura and Mark, he accidentally ends up killing them. And instead of the typical, you know, what have I done? This dude sits there in silence for a sec, dramatically gets up and says, you! Me? What do you mean me? There is nothing in Mark's superpower bag that can burn people into a crisp. He's not Superman. So this dude knows he's lying. He's just in denial. Watch, next season they're gonna raise Powerplex's rank. He's gonna call up Mark saying, you! By the end of this episode, we see Powerplex gets locked up. And I forgot to mention, this episode, we also saw Amber, which, you know, I'm happy we've come this far, y'all. She's done a complete 180 since season 1. Now, episode 7. I don't even know where to start with this one. This episode was honestly, upon release, in my opinion, honestly, truthfully, in my opinion, top 3 in the entire series. I'm not dragging it, I'm not. First, let's talk about this dude Angstrom's return. How? Like, I know how because they showed it, but how? Look at his face. I don't even know if I can show this while my kid missing out on his next meal, but y'all know Stranger Things? Y'all remember how it looks when the Demogorgon is screaming? Yeah, that's how Mark lets his dude Angstrom's head looking. And now that he was back, Angstrom initiates one of the most highly anticipated moments in the entire series. The Invincible War. A bunch of different versions of Mark start coming through these portals, and this is so cool. I honestly think they fumbled on some of the designs for them. Like, look at long hair Mark in the comics. Now look at him in the show. But they definitely made up for it with their personalities. I'm gonna give y'all my top 3 in a second, but for now, we gotta go over day 1. On day 1, we see them running through absolutely everything. This is where we see dudes like Viltrumite Mark, bald prison Mark, Viltrumite Mark with a mustache, and of course, I wouldn't even keep you as a slave in my empire, Mark. He said that so aggressively, it made me feel bad for not being strong. Jeez, bro. Prisons, major cities, the GDA, they were destroying everything. This was the worst PR ever for Mark. So he goes to handle it. And when he arrives, he meets one of my favorite variants, Mohawk Mark. Bro, this dude is hilarious. That thing he pulls later at Mark's crib where he's like, Mom, I need your help. Mom? Ah, shit. Had me dying on the first watch. Mohawk Mark won't tattletale and tell Mark who's behind this, so they just start fighting. I know it was a little scuffle, but it was still cool to see. Mark knocks him out temporarily, and this situation was getting serious. So we cut to the GDA where we hold up, time out. Who is that? Who is that? Please don't tell me that's a variant. That is not Mark. Cecil and the Naked Donald are realizing the severity of the situation. So they call up every superhero on the planet. See, that's more like it. Doc Seismic is not hanging with this. Day 2, they truly do send in everyone. This British dude, this Oompa Loompa lady. They even sent in who? Boss Baby. Oh, my bad. Business Baby. Business Baby. A baby who's only about the business. We see Mark and Eve help some of these heroes fight off the next variant. We see Shiesty Mark. He's the one that says, F off to Omni Mark, who is also here. He's a nonchalant one that doesn't think it's cool to cuss. And man, the second I seen it was a 2v2, Mark and Eve versus these two, I knew it would not go well. It's sad to say, but as she is right now, Eve cannot hang with them. I mean, barely anyone can. Like, I wish she could just instantly make a 3-bed, 2-bathroom crib with a washer and dryer included to trap them in, but these are Viltrumites. They move faster than she can even think, so we should count ourselves lucky to even get these pink sheets of paper, honestly. But still, those weren't enough. Omni Mark ends up shattering through all of them, grabbing Eve by her leg and shattering that too. And I thought Mark was gonna get like a rage amp here, but no. Luckily, Cecil sends in those robots that Mark hates so much and they save him. So maybe he is my dog. We then cut to the Guardians HQ where, oh my, what happened? Well, it was the doing of no other than Goggleless Mark, another one of my favorites. He absolutely ran through the Guardians, and while cracking jokes the whole time too. Help! I don't want to not be living. Priceless. That line made him top 3 for me. Call me easily impressed, I don't care. He cooks the immortal, obviously. But he gets defeated when he gets caught off guard by Darkwing, who traps him in the, I forget, the dark black, I don't know, I forgot what it's called. But that's the last we see of both of them. Then after this, we cut to the Teen Team HQ. I can't do this. Rudy, Bulletproof, Monster Girl, and Rex are going up against Big Goggles Mark. Such a lame name. And it's not looking like they're gonna win. So Rex tells Bulletproof to get everyone out of here. He has a plan. And to tell Ray, he's sorry he couldn't finish helping her move. No, no, no. Rex starts throwing everything he's got at him, even blows up the floor under him, but nothing worked. What was his plan? Big Goggles grabs Rex by the neck, asking him what is he gonna explode next. He's got nothing left. And Rex tells him, my entire skeleton. This scene was so heartbreaking. I saw it coming too. The second they started upping his screen time and doing all that sweet stuff with him and Ray, I knew it was over. R.I.P. Rex, man. Your development throughout the story was beautiful to see. It's just so sad, and I didn't think it could get any sadder. But then they started playing that Billie Eilish, and even worse, Business Baby died. By day 3, the Earth was ravaged. Wait, I don't think they touched Paris. It looks exactly the same. And where was Mark during all this? Well, at the hospital with Eve, where he's refusing to leave her side. Look, Mark, I get it. They might come for her too, but bro, they got business, baby. Get out there. After all that destruction, all the other Marks link up to wait for Angstrom. And here we see probably some of y'all favorites, like Sinister Mark. He's also in my top 3, so I don't blame y'all. No Mask Mark, that's the one that misses William. And Full Mask Mark, that's the one that misses his mom. And by the way, those last two, bro, I don't give a damn that you miss William or that you miss Debbie. I'm not feeling bad for them. And this is coming from a mama's boy. So what if he loves his mom? Almost everybody loves their mom. We can't use that to justify him enlisting himself to slaughter a bunch of people. You know who else had a good relationship with their mom? R. Kelly. Are we forgiving him? Where are his TikTok edits at? Oh, someone misses their mammy. Angstrom gathered the Marks to tell him to get our Mark for him, but they refused. This dude Angstrom really teamed up with Marks that have murked his kid just to get back at a good Mark. He's stupid. The Marks threatened to jump him, but Angstrom sends him into a different dimension and decides to handle it himself. And this is when we finally get the reunion between our Mark and Angstrom. And their fight was great. Angstrom was spamming these metal droid balls, controlling them how Shino controls his bugs. It was dope. It was cool. But our Mark is... so he blocks, weaves, dodges, punches, and pushes through all of them. Mark finally had Angstrom in his hands. Oliver spawns in and bring up what he mentioned a few episodes ago about killing villains and finishing them for good. I mean, I ain't say it earlier, but Oliver kinda has a point. I mean, my boy Red Hood was right. Think about how many people Batman could have saved if he just murked the Joker. I know. But if he did, what would stop him from murking all the other villains? That's the point, murk them all! Mark listens to Oliver and makes his decision, and he tells Angstrom, you gave me no choice. But then, Angstrom escapes through a portal! Come on. At the end of episode 7, we see Mark meet Eve's parents for the first time. Her dad's such a bitch. Duplicate and Immortal retire. Look, it's funny to hate on the Immortal, but he's Abe Lincoln. He kinda deserves some retirement. But you mean to tell me Duplicate not only was a homewrecker, but she also cheated and gets to just retire off the hook like that? This is not fair. And while helping repair the city, we see Mark get attacked by Powerplex, who again reminds Mark this was all his fault. See, if I was Mark, I would've just asked him where your kid at. They lock him up again, and while Mark is thinking about how this low-key is all his fault, we hear a voice call to Mark from above. And it's another Viltrumite. Oh my. Episode 8, bro. Episode 8. If 7 was top 3, this one is top 1. Yes, I said it. Call it recency bias. I don't care. But this is my favorite episode in the entire series. Mark looks up and sees another Viltrumite. Conquest. Now listen, y'all don't understand how much I loved The Walking Dead. It was my baby. But when they killed off Glenn, they went too far for me. I legit dropped the show immediately, and above all else, I hated Negan. But now with Glenn's actor being Mark and Negan's actor voicing Conquest, this felt like the perfect chance for revenge. But this wouldn't be easy. If Mark thought his week couldn't get any worse, then he couldn't be more wrong. Man, and they really did save all the budget for the last episode because this fight was amazing. This fight gave me memories to when I was a child watching Dragon Ball Z for the first time. It was that good. This thing felt intense, and Conquest only made it scarier. This dude is actually one of the most intimidating villains I've ever seen on screen. Conquest tells Mark immediately that he's not like the other Viltrumites. He's not gonna convince him or tell him that, oh, maybe if you... No. He's here to take over the Earth and kill him. He even tells Mark, I want you to resist. Make it fun for me. This dude is the fighting version of Freaked Out. He would love Mufasa. And I can't lie, at this point in the fight, Mark was getting thrashed. Gave me flashbacks to season 1. It got so bad that Mark started... The animation looks really good here, by the way. Mark started trying to talk it out with Conquest. Hold on. We can talk about this. Trying to use talk no jutsu and stuff. Mark, it is not time to set up the podcast equipment. Fight him. Conquest was not gonna stop. We all knew that, and he did it. And this is another example of how sick and twisted and freaked out this dude Conquest is when it comes to fighting. After slamming Mark into the ground, this dude Conquest starts giving him a pep talk, talking him through it like a mom does for her kids before a soccer match. No, don't give up. You can do this, sweetie. You just have to believe. This dude is sick. But luckily, before Mark can continue to be pummeled, we see Oliver. Oh, yeah, my boy is here to save his brother. My boy. Oh, yeah, this was gruesome. It makes me feel so bad because this dude Oliver slides for Mark whenever. And he's like 6 months old. This dude Oliver showed up and Conquest bounced him on the floor like he was checking the ball up. He lost his teeth and nearly got ripped in half. This scene was so hard to watch. Mark watching this rushes in to defend his little brother. And I know he was trying to help, but sheesh, that just made Conquest go back to work on him. Conquest beating up Mark takes him out the city into the ocean and grabs him by the head. Where are they right now? Why does it look so scenic and pretty? Oh no. I don't know if this is just a part of Viltrumite culture, but this dude Conquest runs back what Nolan did to Mark in season 1 and makes Mark run through a beach and like 10 blocks worth of people. Is this cool? Is this casual on Viltrum? Mark has enough and fights back, but when he hits Conquest away, he notices someone else joined the battle. Eve. And look, Eve is a real one for this, even more than Oliver, because she just came out the hospital. Like, Mark should marry her immediately after this. But you, me, and Mark knew with how strong Conquest was, there might not even be an after this. Conquest breaks Mark's leg to keep him out of it and 1v1 Eve, but luckily, this time Eve put up a fight. She did this cool Power Ranger suit up, changed the density of the air, changed the state of matter the objects she used were in. If she did this against Omni Mark and Shiesty Mark, her and Mark would have been a nasty duo. But sadly, y'all, she's right out the hospital and Conquest is strong. So this didn't last too long. That rhyme. This part was hard to watch. Conquest blitzes Eve, taking off her leg pieces, then her helmet, then her arm pieces, then he decks her mouth off. Oh my, pierces her stomach and drops her. So what the? When I saw this, man, it was just sad. I don't even have a joke. Like, I'm keeping it a buck. It brought a tear to my eye. Mark was talking to his dying girlfriend, telling her he can't live without her. Man, and when he called out to Cecil for help, that broke my heart. Mind you, the whole time Mark is holding Eve, this dude Conquest is just talking crazy. Tasting her blood, talking about some yummy, thanking him. Nah, this dude is sick. Mark was pissed. So pissed that he proceeds to hit Conquest with the coldest line that's ever come out his mouth. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow. Ooh, what is that thing Raleigh says? Sweet mama, that was tough. Mark gets that rage amp I wanted him to get earlier and shatters his arm and Conquest's robotic arm at the same time. So cold. Conquest grabs him saying he don't believe in rage amps and Mark bites off a chunk of this dude's shoulder. Okay, Mark tapping into his Mike Tyson bag. But while fighting, Mark gets distracted by something and Conquest slams him. And this is when we got an unexpected reveal. Conquest starts telling Mark about how lonely he is. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was trying to riz Mark. I was about to fast forward. But he continues and says the other Viltrumites fear him. He has no friends. He doesn't even get a name. Just Conquest, a title. I mean, when you're blowing blood hearts and calling women kid, it's gonna be hard to make friends, bro. And then he tells Mark to take it to his grave. But at that moment, before he could finish off Mark, we see what Mark got distracted by earlier. Adam Eve back from the grave. Yeah, she back. Remember that thing that happened at the end of the Adam Eve special? Well, it happened again, but this time as an adult. And with her mental blocks temporarily removed, it allowed Eve to pull a born again and to blast the skin off Conquest. Eve passes out and Conquest immediately turns to go kill her for real this time. But our boy Mark was not about to let that happen. He lost her once, he ain't losing her again. He starts pummeling Conquest with his working arm, but Conquest snaps that one too. And with no more working limbs except one leg, Mark does the most, bro, the coolest thing and only thing he could have done in this situation. Mark starts bashing Conquest with his forehead over and 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 over again. Mark did this till he left Conquest's face looking like, I don't know, if Angstrom was a Demogorgon, this is like, I don't know, a really messed up looking hamster? And that was it. Conquest was dead. Mark crawls to Eve to make sure that she's good and they talk before they both pass out. I can't believe they're really together, man. This is beautiful. And the season ends with Rex's funeral, which by the way was the weirdest funeral ever, bro. Nobody seemed to care. Robot changed his name to Rex on some weirdo stuff. Like, come on, bro. At least change your kid's name to Rex or something. Not yourself. Then we had this dude over here just staring at me. I don't even know who he is. We also see some weird stuff going on with Eve's powers, the potential return of the Sequids, the return of intergalactic Mufasa, the potential return of Angstrom, the potential return of this demon dude, Mark vowing to kill villains. Wow. And Cecil kept Conquest alive to interrogate him. Oh my goodness. You not my dog. Comment down below any predictions y'all got for season 4. I got a few. Like, my guess? My boy Paul gonna get superpowers. It's right there. It's obvious. If you don't see it, you're blind. This season was great, amazing. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Nearly perfect. Just remove the whole Titan stuff and we good. As usual, join the Discord, follow the gram, and moral of the story: Invincible!
Black Samson, retreat.
Now we need a break. Try to run away, try to get away. So it could be